Welcome back to Bodhicharyavatara, chapter number 8 and stanza number 119. We are going through the relative bodhicitta, compassion, that meditation on compassion, and that also, kind of not only you as everybody as equal to yourself, but also you see the well-being of others even more important than your own welfare. What is called as exchanging your well-being with the others. And here it says that, and so we should be undeterred by hardships, for through the influence of use and habit, people even come to grieve for those whose very names struck terror in their hearts. If you say, people say that, okay, to take the well-being of others or everybody else as much as your own welfare, or even more important than your own welfare, that's maybe very good. That's good. That's wonderful. That's great. But it's not easy. It's very difficult. So maybe I can't do it because it's too hard, it's too difficult. If you say that, then it says, it may be hard in the beginning, but if you keep training on it, it will become easy. Because there's nothing which doesn't become easier when you get used to it, and especially when you know that it is actually good for you and good for others, good for everybody. Of course, at the moment we are so used to just, protect our own welfare and protect our own self at any cost, and we don't want to think about others, or we don't want to risk anything from our own benefit. But when you really understand that working for the welfare and well-being of everybody else is in fact your own welfare, and actually it's much better because, it is, in the long run, it's better for yourself, it's better for everybody, and that's the logical conclusion that I want to do the best for everybody. When we understand it, and then if we think again and again, and we train and we become habituated, it will become easy. It will not become not only easy, but become natural, and the most, kind of natural way. It will become so natural that I would think, how can I be other way? How can I react in another way? This is the example given here, is that suppose somebody has a kind of a person or enemy, or a thing, that in the beginning you didn't like it, you were very afraid of it, even by the mention of that name or that, that thing, you get like struck terror, you become very annoyed and afraid, and that person or that thing once you become more close and you come to like each other, love each other, then it can become so, it can become in such a way that if that person or that thing is not there, you will feel bad, you will grieve. This happens, this can happen in our daily life. So therefore, something that you think is difficult, something that you think is not easy, because it is actually good and best thing, it brings the best result for everybody. And if you get used to it, it will become easy and natural. So you just need to be patient, and you just need to train. We need to train. That's the Tibetan version of this is Kali shirdu mizate ndatar kambi tein tuyin kangi mitun jipayo tenyemena muganjur. Then the third next is to conclude. Kangi datun yen namne nyudu shepardu pati datun yen de jeshawa sangi tambash sheparsha. That is the 120. Those desiring speedily to be a refuge for themselves and others should make the interchange of I and other, and thus embrace a sacred mystery. So those people, who really want to become enlightened, really desire to become a refuge, or find a refuge, or become a refuge yourself, for your own sake and for the sake of others. Meaning that if you really want to become enlightened, if you really want to awaken your, the most innate qualities like compassion and wisdom, and become an enlightened, that you can end all your suffering, and you want to find this lasting peace, happiness, and fully, awakened, then you should train in this exchange of myself with the others, my welfare with the welfare of others. So welfare of others should be the thing that you should be most interested, most focused, most, most working on, and this is the ultimate practice of a bodhisattva, and thus embrace the sacred mystery, Swami Dhamma. Why we say it sacred mystery? Because it is a kind of it's a secret, It's a kind of a mystery because, usually we think that I have to care for myself, I have to do some things for myself, I have to take care of myself. And then I want this, I do this, I run away from things, and I run after things that might help me. And this goes on and goes on, this goes on for life after life after life, century after century, and eon after eon, and then I'm not a little bit better. But if I changed that way of doing, and if instead of saying me, and I only run after things that I like, or run away from things I don't want, but I try to do things that good for everybody, even if it's not at the moment seem to be good for me, and did everything that is, try to avoid or try to get rid of everybody's suffering and problems, pain, even if I have to sacrifice myself. If I, that actually, even now, temporarily, it brings the most satisfaction and success and welfare for others, but also for myself. In the long run, that will bring you the wisdom, the compassion, the enlightenment for yourself. So actually you are doing for others, but in the end you get the best for yourself. So that's a mystery, We don't understand this mystery. That's a mystery. And we can't, it's a mystery because it's difficult to understand this. It's very difficult for ordinary people like us to understand this. And therefore, if you just, for most people, if you just say, you should exchange your own welfare for the others, people will, people will get angry, people will get upset, people will, immediately go away. This person is crazy, is talking nonsense. How can this be? So it's not something that it is not something that you can even tell this to lots of people. You can't talk about this kind of publicly. If you make, you go to a political rally and said that, just give up all your things and only think about others' benefit, they think you are crazy. So therefore, it's not something that, it's a mystery, but very sacred. It's kind of a secret. It's a secret, sacred thing. It's something that is so great, so important, so good, such a wonderful, thing, but it's not something that easily understood, and that you can not publicly, even tell people, easily. That's why sacred mystery or sacred secret or something like that. But it is good to embrace it. Then we come to the next kind of why it is important to not completely, not only run after your desires and your benefit and, things like that. Dolu kongla chopa yin, jini chongla un ji sewa, jipa shevi lute la sujita yin dom shes. This is Tibetan, so I read Tibetan first. Because of our attachment to our bodies, even little things alarm us. This body then, the source of so much terror, who would not detest it as the worst of foes. We are so much attached to our bodies, and therefore, we are always concerned about what is good now, this body, what will give me more comfort, more enjoyment, more pleasure, what will give me more pain, less leisure, more hardship, more difficult, more work and things like that. So because of that, even little things alarm us, like if I have to spend some time in a little bit uncomfortable place, or I will get a little bit hurt, or what can you say, not welcome, or a little bit looked down, or treated not so well, or people say some not so good things like that. So we are so afraid of getting hurt. We are so afraid of, getting things which we are not, we don't want. We are so afraid of not getting things that we want, So even little things alarm us. And so therefore, we are always, because of that, I want this, I don't want this, so this is not good. This will lead to me getting something not so good in the future, after 1 year, after 10 years, after, this will give something that is good for me. So, if somebody is doing something that would prevent it, then I will be upset and unhappy and angry and sad and things like that. And all my worries, all my anxieties, all my, fears, unhappiness, and all these things is because of that, because of my attachment to my welfare, my good things now and in the future. So, all my anxieties, all my tensions, all my fears, all my unhappiness is coming from this, I want, I don't want. So it is, all the terrors are coming from attachment to me and my body and my welfare. If this is the case, then who would not detest it as the worst of foes? Well, it's just a way of saying, of course, your body is not your enemy. It could be your best friend. It could be the most important, precious situation that you have. Actually, precious. It's in the beginning. It is said, precious human body. If you use this body, if you use this life in the right way, it is the most precious thing for us. But if we use it in the wrong way, in the bad way or negative way, then it could also be the worst enemy for us, because it could because of some little thing that I want or little thing I don't want, I can do so much negative things. I could, people, because of their power, because of their wealth, they've killed thousands and millions of beings, just because of your ego, or because of your pride, or because of your, something, that is what I want, So therefore, you can create so much trouble, so much negative things, that actually it could make you suffer for long, long time. You know. So therefore, if we do not wisely take care of what I want and what I not want, or what my body wants or my body doesn't want, if we don't wisely follow this, then it could also become our worst enemy, actually, something that brings the worst. That's why I think I will stop here. Yes. Thank you.